The Earth is waking up, and it's a very different place. "600 million years ago, the atmosphere is warmer, like a summer day. And the days are about 22 hours long. Add all this water, and it's the perfect recipe for life. Before Snowball Earth, primitive bacteria emerged in the oceans. But surely they couldn't have survived an ice age 75 times longer than the entire span of human history. If something has survived, then life may be found where it was last seen, in the oceans. Now, 540 million years ago, in an ocean full of oxygen, those primitive bacteria have evolved. A handful must have clung on through the big freeze. There are plants scattered on the seafloor. And something else. What looks like an armored slug takes up residence. It's called Wiwaxia, a new generation of complex multi-celled organisms. The Earth enters one of the most dynamic periods in its history, the Cambrian explosion. Increased oxygen levels allow creatures to grow larger and develop bony skeletons. There are worms, sponges, and these trilobites, distant relatives of insects, lobsters, even scorpions. Life in the oceans blossoms. From microscopic bacteria to monsters. This is Anomalocaris. Nearly 2 feet long. It has large eyes, razor-sharp teeth, and grasping limbs. All it has to do is take its pick. The trilobite can't right itself. Its soft belly is exposed. Also found in the sea is Pichia, only 1.5 inches long. They may be the first organism with a spine. Over millions of years, this simple structure will evolve into the spine that keeps us standing. Expecting to find life in ruins, the oceans are in fact full of life. Where trilobites scavenge, monsters prowl, and where creatures begin to take on familiar forms. Beneath the waves, there are already tens of thousands of plant and animal species. The advance of life seems unstoppable. $460 million years ago, the plates had been moving again. A new continent now exists, Gondwana. It's 90 degrees and oxygen levels are close to what they are today. The land should be covered with plants and crawling with creatures. But there's not much here, besides a few patches of algae. There's only one explanation. The sun. It blasts the surface with deadly radiation. So the complex life in the ocean doesn't stand a chance on land. But 30 miles up, where the rays enter the Earth's atmosphere, something is happening. When oxygen meets the sun's radiation, it turns into another kind of gas called ozone. This gas forms a blanket around the planet and absorbs the lethal radiation. Over 120 million years, the ozone layer gets thicker and prevents more and more radiation from reaching the Earth's surface. Without this layer, life on land simply wouldn't exist. Now, shielded from radiation, life takes off. Small mossy lumps are the first land plants. They pump out even more oxygen. Levels soar. $375 million years ago, a new species lives in the water, swimming. It's a strange fish called tiktaalik. It uses its neck to raise itself up. And its fins function as legs, allowing it to move out of the water. This is one of the most important moments in the making of our planet. Over 15 million years, creatures like these evolve. They grow stronger limbs and spend more time out of the water, where plant life is exploding. Until 360 million years ago, their relatives, called tetrapods, make the land their home. From tetrapods, four-legged vertebrates evolve into dinosaurs, birds, mammals, and eventually, humans. There are mosses and ferns everywhere, some at least 100 feet tall. A seed is carried by the wind. Until now, plants reproduced using spores, single-cell particles that need plenty of water to grow. But this seed is miles from water. This embryonic plant has its own food and water supply. Unlike a spore, this seed can survive far from water for months, even years. The humble seed spreads life across the planet, and each tree and plant pumps out even more oxygen. It's an environment very much like today. The planet has come a long way, from a lump of burning rock and dust to a blue and green world bursting with life. There are now fish, plants, and this. The dragonfly. It's called Meganeura. This insect is the size of an eagle. What were once legs have evolved into wings, extending the dragonfly's hunting territory over a vast area. There are also millipedes and spiders down there. These creatures, called arthropods, were among the first to set foot on land hundreds of millions of years ago. They look almost identical to the bugs that invade our homes today, except for one big difference. Like the Meganeura, they're monsters. It's a world full of giants, where millipedes are 6 feet long, and scorpions are the size of wolves. This is because the oxygen level is much higher than it is today, which allows their respiratory systems to be more efficient, fueling their bodies to grow larger. So far, animals have been laying their eggs in the water. But a lizard-like creature, called the Hylonomus, prefers land. Its eggs contain all the water and nutrients that the developing fetus needs. The babies grow in their own self-contained pond. The egg is a major evolutionary breakthrough, allowing animals to leave the water behind and conquer land.